Welcome viewers and listeners to Headingley from this Premiership final, the top 8. Featherstone Rovers being led out by the mascot here this afternoon, and Derek Fox, the Featherstone Rovers captain. Peter Smith there passed a late fitness test this morning. Out on the field, the Featherstone Rovers team, number 1 Chris Bibb, 2 is Ian Smales, 3 Alan Banks, 4 Paul Newlove and 5 Paul Hughes. Half-backs are 6 Greg Stedman and 7 Derek Fox. Forwards are 8 Jeff Gratian, 9 Trevor Clark, 10 Carl Harrison, 11 Chris Byrne, 12 John Bastian and 13 Peter Smith. Substitutes are 14 Danny Beach and number 15 Glyn Booth. Well, both Trevor Clark and Graham Stedman missed last week's matches. Graham Stedman missed the last 3, but both them 2 and both Peter Smith, as I said previously this morning, passed a late fitness test on that bad ankle what he had coming off against Warrington last weekend I should say, and all them 3 being past fit to play today. Well, who would have thought this time last beginning of the season when these 2 teams met in the first league game of the season that Featherstone Rovers will be playing in this match today. I think the true honest Featherstone Rovers supporter must put his hand on his heart and say that if we'd have said that we'd have been finishing 6th in the first division this season, I think people would have laughed. But Featherstone Rovers has shown the true character this season, all down to one man, that man there, the coach there, just walking across the pitch there, Peter Fox, doing a marvellous job here at Featherstone Rovers, along with himself and Kenny Loxton and Peter Bell. And here we come, the Leeds team. A good round of applause for the Leeds team playing on the home ground this afternoon. Number 1 Gary Lord, number 2 Phil Ford, 3 is Gary Schofield, 4 is Carl Gibson, 5 is John Bentley. Half-backs are 6 David Creaser and 7 Paul Delaney. Forwards are number 8 Lee Crooks, 9 is Colin Maskell, 10 is Hugh Waddell, 11 Roy Powell, 12 Paul Dixon and 13 David Eden. Substitutes are 14 Mark Lord and number 15 is Gary Price. The referee for today is that well-known referee, experienced referee there, Mr Robin Whitfield from Widnes. A lot of cheers, a lot of boos from the crowd here at Leeds. Big cheer there, big wave to the crowd. Robin Whitfield, well known throughout the world of rugby league. Like I was saying previously, Featherstone Rovers' marvellous achievement this season, finishing 6th position. Coming here, Leeds finishing in 3rd position. Just looking down on the pitch there, Trevor Clark looks as if he's raring to go, play for this club 3 or 4 seasons ago for Leeds. So Derek Fox there and Lee Crooks. And the Leeds fans in good voice this afternoon behind me, shouting the Leeds team on. So Lee Crooks there and Derek Fox there, just seeing where the coin's gone. Looks like Derek Fox has won the toss, so it'll be Leeds kicking off. As we're looking at it, Leeds playing from left to right. It's a knockout business this, so there's nothing for the losers today. So an off chance, so everybody wants to give their best today, so it'll be Leeds kicking off. One tactical switch I think I heard on the coach coming with the team this afternoon was that Alan Banks was going to play stand-off half and Graham Stedman moving into the centre, so whether that comes off or not we'll have to wait and see as the game progresses. So it's Leeds restarting this game now. David Creaser, that big kick downfield. Graham Stedman first touch of the ball for about 3 weeks this. Graham Stedman through one tackle, that's good running that by Graham Stedman. Lee Crooks there going to make the tackle, but penalty to Featherstone Rovers. Number 13 there, David Eden laying on at the tackle. Referee Mr Whitfield will stand none of that this afternoon, so it's up to Featherstone Rovers when Leeds have got the ball to do the same, get up off the man with the ball. So Graham Stedman, that big kick towards that. So it's Trevor Clark now to Carl Harrison. That's good running by Carl Harrison, good tackle there by Colin Maskell right round the bootlaces. And number 10 there, Hugh Waddell. So it's Jeff Gratian now to Derek Fox there to Chrissy Byrne. But number 12 there, Paul Dixon making the tackle. And number 13 there, Dave Eden in straight away. So it's Derek Fox with the ball now to Jeff Gratian, back to Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. That's good play by Derek Fox, Jeff Gratian and Peter Smith. That's a good start by Featherstone Rovers, full of confidence. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox, that little kick through, that ball rolling towards that touchline side. That's a good kick by Derek Fox, number 1 there. Gary Lort seemed to come across for that ball as if he'd got all the time in the world, but in this game of rugby league you haven't got a time to think. He should have pounced on that ball, but that ball just running away from him. So the first scrum of the match is with number 7 Paul Delaney to feed the scrum for Leeds. Well, the atmosphere in this ground is absolutely tremendous. So Paul Delaney gets that ball out of the pack. Paul Delaney there weaving his way through. Two would-be Featherstone Rovers tacklers there. So John Bastian there making the tackle. So it's number 12, Paul Dixon, trying to make progress to his own 25-yard area. List, like I've just said, Graham Stedman playing in the centre with the number 6 shirt on. Alan Bax playing stand-off half. Good tackle that by Chrissy Burton. Chris Burton used to be an old favourite here at Headingley. Started his rugby career here at Headingley before he moved on to Huddersfield, then OKR, and finally his wheels now. So that's good running that by Lee Crooks, but number 10 there, Carl Addison wrapping him up. So it's Colin Maskill now, that ball back there to Lord, that big kick downfield by David Creasy. That ball stopping there, so Derek Fox coming for that ball there to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb there trying to go between Lee Crooks there and Roy Powell, but Chris Bibb tackled about 10 or 12 yards from the halfway line. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back there now to number 5 there, Paul Hughes helping his forwards out, coming in off the wing. Taking about 4 Leeds players to bring Paul Hughes down, but Paul Hughes will get up to play the ball to Trevor Clark. But referee there catching Leeds offside at that. Play the ball, number 1 there, Gary Lord offside. So once again another penalty kick to Featherstone Rovers by Graham Stedman. So here we go. Well, at least a big cheer from the crowd, but at least Graham Stedman there reaches touch. That's all what matters. As long as the ball's out into place. Featherstone Rovers 6 tackles now. Derek Fox to Jeff Grayson. Derek Fox there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there taking the defence on. But tackle there by Leeds number 7, Paul Delaney. So it's Featherstone Rovers 10 yards inside. Leeds out of the field. Jeff Grayson with the ball now. Jeff Grayson there being tackled, just couldn't pop that ball up there to Chris Burton. So Jeff Grayson here, slow to get to his feet, but he plays the ball now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out now to Peter Smith. Peter Smith throw the gap back inside there to Trevor Clark. Trevor Clark taking the defence on. Trevor Clark, that long ball out there, but Ian Smales there taking that ball, but it was way in touch. But Trevor Clark, I could see his idea, tried to float the ball over, but that's first ball to Featherstone Rovers. Peter Smith through the gap, and those backing up that man again, the best support player to me in rugby league playing today, Trevor Clark. But just joined the fullback there, Gary Lord, and just floating that ball over for Ian Smelson onto, but the ball just going astray and the ball just floating into touch. So it's another scrum down. It'll be delaying to feed the scrum. It's here, out. It's out to Leeds. So it's Delaney just drops on that ball. That's the first tackle. So it's Leeds now in possession, way inside their own 25-yard area. It's number 6 there, David Creasy, trying to dummy his way through, but Peter Smith won't stand any dummies here. So it's Dave Eden there to Hugh Waddell, pushing one man, and he's lost the ball, Hugh Waddell. Chrissy Burton picking that ball up. That's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. Hugh Waddell losing that ball on the second tackle. So it's Featherstone Rovers now, Carl Addison. Carl Addison seemed to be flat-footed when he received that ball. He wants a good yardage start when he receives the ball. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back now to Jeff Grayson to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. Oh, Peter Smith just couldn't get that ball up there for Derek Fox, making himself available again. Gary Schofield there and Peter Smith there seem to collide in that tackle. Gary Schofield holding his head, Peter Smith holding his back. So both men there going to have to receive treatment. Penalty to Featherstone Rovers. John Bastian there and Lee Crooks. Silly thing for Lee Crooks to do that. Seemed to push John Bastian away. Referee had already awarded the penalty. So just looking down on the ground, Peter Smith looking. Look to me, Peter Smith and Gary Schofield collided there. Gary Schofield seemed to hurt his head and Peter Smith seemed to hurt his back. Well, in recent weeks, Featherstone Rovers have always managed to give start to the opposing team, but it's Featherstone Rovers first points on the board. Featherstone Rovers 2, Graham Stedman, Leeds 0. So there we go, David Creasy restarting this game. Derek Fox takes that ball there, passes it to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes there running it in just short of his own 25-yard line. 3 Leeds players there making the tackle, so it's Derek Fox once again there to John Bastian. John Bastian there being pushed back. That's good tackling by Leeds. It's still Featherstone Rovers 2, Leeds 0. Roy Powell there involved with that tackle. So it's Carl Addison's turn to it out there. That ball up there to Derek Fox, but that ball well forward, knock on. Referee right on the spot there, Mr. Whitfield. So it'll be a scrum down just about on that Featherstone Rovers 25-yard line. It'll be Delaney to feed the scrum there, switching play there to Creaser, back there to Delaney there to Carl Gibson, but that's good tackling that by Peter Smith. He watched that move all the way, so it's Delaney with the ball now there to Dave Heron there, trying to get his three-quarter moving up to this ball. But number 3 there, Alan Banks, makes the tackle. So it's first bit of pressure now from Leeds in this match. Number 10 there, Yoard elbow. Boo, that was hard tackle that by Chris Burton. That was a good man-to-man tackle by Chrissy Burton. So it's Leeds now throwing this ball about. Lee Crooks with the ball. Lee Crooks through the gap. But Lee Crooks there just couldn't get the ball away. Derek Fox putting himself between the man and the ball. And a penalty to Leeds. Holding on at the tackle. Rightly so, the referee right on the spot. He's already penalised Leeds for the first thing in the first tackle. Not getting off the man with the ball. And John Bastian there laying on at the tackle. So here we go, David Creason early out for all this season through injury, having coming back in the latter weeks. Malcolm Milner's deciding to play him at standoff half. Here he goes, strikes the ball straight between the middle. Leeds 2, Featherstone Rovers 2. So here we go, Derek Fox restarting this game, strikes it well. Here we go, Phil Foot tapping that ball with his foot, trying to run it up out his own 25-yard area, still going, but Derek Fox makes the tackle. Gets up, plays the ball, Colin Maskell now to Roy Powell. Roy Powell will run it in, he's taking it in, but makes John Bastian there. John Bastian and Peter Smith there, wrestling him to the ground. Gets up, plays the ball, Roy Powell there to Colin Maskell, once again to Dave Heron. Dave Heron coming down the middle, back there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell there, but Chrissy Burton wraps them big arms round him. That's good tackling that by Chris Burton there. Roy Powell spotted the gap, but Chris Burton quick to move to him, so it's Jules Waddell there, back inside there. That's a bad mistake, but the ball going to Leeds. Delaney there with the ball, but John Bastian wrapping him up. So it's Colin Maskell now from acting half back there to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks, that's good running back by the Leeds captain. That makes progress to the halfway line. Well, number 10 there and number 8, Jeff Grayson and Carl Harrison wrestled him to the ground. Now it's Gary Schofield, that big kick downfield, testing Chris Bibb out, but Chris Bibb there never took his eye off the ball, takes it cleanly, trying to come down the middle, but David Creaser there waiting for him, makes the tackle. So it's Graham Stedman now from acting half back there. Graham Stedman going solo. Too many Leeds players in the way, 4 Leeds players there round his ankles there. Number 6 there, David Creaser finally makes the tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Paul Newell. Paul Newell out to one tackle. Paul Newell there just couldn't get that ball out there to Paul. Use the ball rolling into touch. So the ball's in, it's actually, it's Crease with the ball now to Gibson. Gibson there, number 3, Gary Schofield to Lord. But Lord through the gap, is it Lord? It's number 5 there, Bentley with the ball, but Bentley has to stop back. Chris Bibb there, got the legs of him. Number 5 there, John Bentley in that build up. He should have had the pace to beat Chris Bibb, but Chris Bibb there overrun him. So it's number 12 there now, Paul Dixon. Big strong run by the ex-Halifax second row forward, but John Bentley there, I thought he got legs on him there. Oh, that's a good art tackle by Carl Harrison there on Joe Waddell. So it's Colin Maskell with the ball now to Delaney. Delaney to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there to David Creaser. David Creaser there to Gary Schofield. Gary Schofield there, oh, he should have let the ball go. Beautiful tackle that by Alan. I think it's Alan Banks there. Is it Alan Banks or Jeff Grayson? Jeff Grayson there. That was a marvellous tackle that by Jeff Grayson. How Jeff Grayson got across there to tackle Gary Schofield. Well, he just come from nowhere. So just looking down now, looks as if Danny Beach has had to come on for, I think it's Paul Newell going off. Got a bad ankle injury, number 4 there, Paul Newell having to go off, so that's an early blow for Featherstone Rovers. So I'm sure that Ian Smells will come into the centre and Danny Beach will go on to the wing. So here we go, David Creaser, second attempt at goal. Strikes the ball, has he got the direction? And it's missed, and Chris Bibb takes that ball inside his own time. Chris Bibb running around Delaney. Chris Bibb on a run. That's good running by Chris Bibb, but number 7 there, Delaney makes the tackle. And it looked a vicious tackle to me, but referees play the ball, so it's Derek Fox now, but Joe Waddell makes the tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back inside there to Carl Harrison. Carl Harrison taking 3 Leeds players to make the tackle there. Paul Dixon there and Colin Maskell, so it's John Bastian there, but Colin Maskell there rolls him over. And number 12, once again, Paul Dixon involved with the tackle, so it's Trevor Clark now back there to Graham Steadman. Graham Steadman runs round one man, pumps the ball back up downfield, but Graham Steadman there just looking there. And referee there penalising there, number 8, Lee Crooks, going in with a shoulder well after the ball was struck on Graham Steadman. Referee right on the spot spotted it, so penalty kick to Featherstone Rovers. This is Graham Steadman's second penalty chance at goal. Here he goes, strikes it, it's got the direction and it's missed, so both sides hitting one and missing one, so the score remains Featherstone Rovers 2, Leeds 2. But one thing in Featherstone Rovers' favour, Graham Steadman managed to reach dead with that kick at goal, so Leeds will have to drop out. So there we are, big drop out there. Graham Steadman taking that ball there, never took his eye off the ball. Graham Steadman kicks the ball through, Phil Ford after it, Phil Ford there, but Graham Steadman makes the tackle. That's good play by the Rovers, number 6. And referee penalising Graham Steadman for not allowing Phil Ford to play the ball. But I'd just like to know if Graham Steadman had let go at Phil Ford, whether Phil Ford would have run with the ball, what the referee would have done then. But so Graham Steadman there been caught out in 2 minds, but the referee right on the spot. So it's Colin Maskell now to Joe Waddell, but Carl Allison there wrapping Joe Waddell up. Gets up, plays the ball. Colin Maskell now to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there through one tackle, but Carl Allison there and Chris Burton wrapping up on the halfway line. Colin Maskell now from acting half back now to Young Delaney. Young Delaney throwing that ball out there to Aaron. Aaron there to number 6, David Creaser. David Creaser, beautiful done with that day. But Derek Fox, beautiful copybook tackling there. Right round the bootlaces. Gets up, plays the ball. Delaney with the ball now to Aaron. Aaron coming downfield now. Throws that ball into no man's land, but Leeds pick it up. John Bastian there, Carl Addison making the tackle. When Leeds throw this ball out wide, they look dangerous. So it's Delaney with the ball now to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks, that little kick over. And where's the ball bouncing? It bouncing field. Number 14 there, Danny Beach picking that ball up. First touch of the ball for the substitute, but being tackled by number 2 there, Phil Ford. And what's happened here? Phil Ford getting that ball. I just couldn't see what happened there. Danny Beach seemed to lose that ball in the tackle, or did he play the ball? And Phil Ford beats. I couldn't just see where I am. So it's Leeds now on the attack. And it's all Leeds now. It's still to a piece. Delaney with the ball now to David Aaron. David Aaron there to number 8 to Carl Gibson. But that's beautiful tackling that by Ian Smales on Carl Gibson. He looked to try score until Ian Smales made that tackle. So it's Dave Aaron with the ball. It's all Leeds now. Lee Crooks with the ball now. And it's good tackling this by Graham Steadman. Number 3 there, Gary Schofield couldn't move anyway, so it's Lee Crooks now working this blind hand side. Oh, he just couldn't get that ball up there to number 7, Paul Delaney. That's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. Well, what exciting stuff here now. It's Gary Schofield, that big up and under. He's on the Featherstone try line, who's going for the ball? And the ball pushes dead. All that pressure there, so it's a drop out for Featherstone Rovers underneath their own posts. All the pressure there coming from Leeds. Danny Beach, I just couldn't see what happened. He seemed to lose the ball in the tackle, or Phil Ford come up with the ball anyway. Graham Steadman, that's a brilliant kick that by Graham Steadman. Turning Leeds round. Roy Powell picking it up 10 yards inside his own half. He'll bring it up. Roy Powell there to Gary Lord. John Bentley it was, so it's Featherstone. It's Leeds now with the ball. Joe Waddell, but number 13 there, Peter Smith. Well, Featherstone Rovers tackling like stags in this first quarter of the game. Leeds throwing everything at him. Aaron with the ball. Oh, and that's a good tackle by Chris Hibbert. And he's throwing that ball wide. And Danny Beach picks that ball up. Featherstone Rovers. Danny Beach. That's good play by Danny Beach. But that tackle by Chris Burton there on Lee Crooks. Absolutely magic tackle. So it's Grahamstown with the ball now. Back inside here to John Bastian. And just looking down here now. Chrissy Burton seems to be holding his arm, but it seems to be okay. Jeff Cage with the ball now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there. There to Alan Backs. Alan Backs there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales taking the defence on. Ian Smales there. Back inside there to Paul Hughes. Oh, that's good play that by Featherstone Rovers. Peter Smith, Ian Smales, Derek Fox, Jeff Creation, and finally Paul Hughes. And it's Ian Smales now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Carl Allison. Carl Allison back inside there to Derek Fox. Scores the try. Derek Fox, marvellous try that. Oh, that was one for the copybook. Textbooks was that, whatever you want to call it. Oh, you could see that coming off way before Carl Addison got that ball. And that all started with that tackle on this halfway line. What Chris Burton did there on Lee Crooks, he made him throw the ball into no man's land. Danny Beach taking that ball. A quick play the ball by Danny Beach, and the ball went across the line from Derek Fox to Jeff Grayson to Derek Fox to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes tackle with the ball. Quick play the ball. The ball there to Carl Addison, bursting through him. And who was there to back him up? Never say die, that Featherstone Rovers, and should be Great Britain number 7 there, Derek Fox, to plant that ball, but over that whitewash. Featherstone Rovers 6, Leeds 2. So here we go. Derek Fox trying to convert his own try. All that Leeds pressure, brilliant tackling by Featherstone Rovers. So Derek Fox just composing himself, strikes the ball straight between the middle. Featherstone Rovers 8, Leeds 2. So here we go, Leeds restarting the game. David Creaser, all that pressure what Leeds had on that Featherstone Rovers try, but Featherstone Rovers tackling there, kept him out. So it's Chris Pip trying to come down the middle. But Paul Delaney there makes the tackle just on his own 25 line. So it's Trevor Clark now. Trevor Clark, he'll run it in. But tackle there by Leeds number 8 there, Lee Crooks. So it's Peter Smith now there to Derek Fox there to Jeff Grayson, but Jeff Grayson just couldn't get that ball up. Number 12 there, Paul Dixon, putting himself between Jeff Grayson and Derek Fox. So it's Graham Stedman with it ball now. But Graham Stedman, big kick downfield once again. It's all on. Number 1 there, Gary Lord, caught in 2 minds whether to take it on the full or let it bounce. So Gary Lord inside his own 25-yard line. He'll run it out, but Peter Smith there wrapping him up. Well, who would have thought that Peter Smith had a bad ankle this time last week? He was up there after that ball there, what Graham Stedman, the first man up. And there he is again, making the tackle. Graham Stedman helping him out. So it's Lee Crooks there, but once again, Peter Smith and Carl Addison making the tackle in the Leeds. Jay's now going up. This is how good Featherstone Rovers are tackling. Joe Waddell with the ball, and they don't like it. Jeff Grayson there in making the tackle, and Peter Smith once again. That must be 5 minutes tackling on the trot, Peter Smith. So it's Dave Eden trying to come down the middle with Roy Powell there, but John Bastian there making the tackle, gets his pass out, oh, and that was dangerous, but Carl Gibson on a flyer. Carl Gibson taking Paul Hughes on. Carl Gibson, oh, that was a good tackle that by Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes there, Carl Gibson thought he was round his man there, but Paul Hughes brought a special out that time, stopping him in his tracks. So it's Paul Dixon with the ball now, but that once again, gut tackling that Trevor Clark. They can't run without the legs in this game, so it's Joe Waddell now, taking the Rovers defence on. But Trevor Clark once again down below, Chris Burton on top. So it's Delaney with the ball now there to number 13, Dave Vernon, trying to get this ball out wide there. Gary Schofield with the ball, Gary Schofield back inside there to number 2, Phil Ford. Phil Ford going back inside, Phil Ford running across to Roy Powell. Roy Powell with the ball now, this is good stuff from Leeds, but he runs into Chris Burton. Brilliant play by Leeds, that, but stretching Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone Rovers reorganising now. Joe Waddell with the ball, going solo, going down the middle. That's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. So it's Maskell now to Delaney to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks now, that little kick through, it's all on. But Danny Beach back for that ball, picks it up on his own try line. Danny Beach, good play that by the Rovers substitute. So it's Graham Stedman now, going from acting half-back. Graham Stedman will take the defence on. We're just going to slip that ball out, but passing the ball on his own line in them situations is very dangerous indeed. He knows that. So it's Derek Fox with the ball now, that little shimmy. It's up to Featherstone to get this ball down in this Leeds half of the field. So it's Trevor Clark with the ball now there to John Bastian. Carl Addison there on the dummy run. That's 3 tackles. Featherstone hasn't moved an inch. Joe Waddell involved with that tackle. John Bastian slow to get to his feet. Trevor Clark with the ball now there to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman there, that big boot downfield. It's all on John Bentley taking that ball. John Bentley cutting back inside. He's using the referee. John Bentley going down the middle. John Bentley still going. John Bentley going. He just walked through Graham Stedman. John Bentley there just got that ball on the halfway line. A diagonal run using the referee, rightly so. But Graham Stedman there coming to make the tackle, he just seemed to push him off to say, get out of my way, lad, and put that ball over that try line. Featherstone Rovers 8, Leeds 6. So it's number 6 now, David Creaser. Well, as far as Leeds are concerned, that was a brilliant individual try by John Bentley. So here we go, David Creaser strikes the ball just across the face of the goal. So the score remains Leeds 6, Featherstone Rovers 8. So here we go, Derek Fox restarts this game for Featherstone Rovers, big kick downfield. Carl Gibson there traps it with his foot, picks it up inside his in-goal area, running it out. But Trevor Clark there, picking him up bodily there, dumping him to the ground. So that's the first tackle, Leeds about 10 yards from their own 25-yard line. So it's Roy Powell on the dummy run now, but it's got play by Leeds to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson taking Chrissy Bibb on. Chris Bibb there going across ball. Chris Bibb wraps him up. That's good tackling that by Chris Bibb. Good running though by Carl Gibson. So it's Leeds now to Paul Dixon. Paul Dixon there. Chris Bibb once again makes the tackle. Now it's Leeds, all Leeds now. So it's Dave Aaron with the ball. Dave Aaron, Featherstone Rovers got to reorganise. Delaney with the ball there to Gary Schofield. But Gary Schofield there being wrapped up by Rovers' Chrissy Burton. Gets up, plays the ball. So it's number 13, Dave Aaron. Back inside there to Lord. Lord through the gap. Oh, tackle is just short. But the ball running forward. Derek Fox there pulling off a try-saving tackle, and Gary Lord there trying to get the ball away in the tackle. Chris Bibb there following that ball all along. But once again, Leeds with Carl Gibson showing his paces, coming down the middle. Chrissy Bibb bringing off two marvellous tackles to save that try line. So it'll be Derek Fox to feed the scrum. The ball's in, it's out to Derek Fox. So Paul Hughes now from dummy half, he'll run it in, will Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes will run it in, Roy Powell there making the tackle. Leeds caught offside. Penalty to Featherstone Rovers. So it'll be Graham Stedman. Big boat towards that touchline side. So it'll be Trevor Clark. Tap the ball to Derek Fox there, back there to Derek Fox there to Alan Banks now to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb cutting back inside, but young Delaney there making the tackle. Chris Bibb gets to his feet to Alan Banks that long ball out there to John Bastian. But John Bastian there being tackled just about on the halfway line, so it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox there to Chris Burton. Oh, Chris Burton there, Roy Powell coming across making the tackle, helped out there by Lee Crooks. So Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox has got to turn Leeds inside out. That's a beautiful kick by Derek Fox. Finds touch halfway between the Leeds try line and the Leeds 25-yard line. It'll be Paul Delaney to feed the scrum. It's still Leeds 6, Featherstone Rovers 8. And the ball's in, it's out to Leeds. Delaney with the ball there, checking Peter Smith on, but Alan Banks there coming across to make the tackle. And Graham Stedman just making sure he was tackled. So it's Carl Gibson, beautiful tackle by Peter Smith, and here's Smells dropping on that loose ball for Featherstone Rovers. Another bad mistake by Leeds there, Carl Gibson with the ball there, dropping that ball. So it's Jeff Grayson will run it in. Back there to Derek Fox there to Graham Stedman having to cut back inside there, but Lee Crooks there just waiting for him. So it's Derek Fox now with the ball there to Carl Harrison. Carl Harrison there trying to get that ball away to Peter Smith there from Derek Fox there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales going down the middle. Referee wiping them tackles off, so Featherstone Rovers 6 more to go. So Derek Fox there, him and Jeff Grayson there just losing one another. So Derek Fox there being tackled with the ball. So it's Trevor Clark with the ball now there to Carl Harrison once again going down the middle. Just couldn't pop that ball up there. Number 12 in the way there, Paul Dixon. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back. Trevor Clark there now to Peter Smith. Peter Smith losing that ball in the tackle. Referee spotting it. So it'll be a scrum down 10 yards from that Leeds try line. So it'll be number 7, Paul Delaney feeding that scrum. It's out to Leeds once again. Paul Delaney there, shoving Alan Max out of the way. Paul Delaney coming down the middle. Paul Delaney, that's good running by Paul Delaney. Fantastic play that by the Leeds number 7. Beating 4 men on that little solo run. So it's Yordell now taking it over. Yordell there taking John Bastian on, but Jeff Grayson there wrestling with him. But Chris Burton finally puts his shoulder behind him, wrestles him to the ground, gets up, plays the ball. Colin Maskill now to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks coming down the middle there to Trevor Clark there making the tackle straight round the bootlaces. Number 3 there, Gary Schofield, being tackled with the ball 5 yards short of the halfway line. So it's Leeds now throwing this ball out. Carl Gibson there getting out of one tackle, but Paul Hughes there wraps him up. Plays the ball back. Leeds still inside their own half. Roy Powell with the ball there, dumbing one way, dumbing the other. Throwing that loose ball out there, but Leeds there. Paul Dixon getting that ball, but Ian Smales there making the tackle. So it's Leeds still with the ball now. And Phil Ford running down this field like a... What's Phil Ford doing? He's miles out of it. Oh, he's miles offside. Oh, he can't let that go. You put it one down here before it sets one over there. So there we are, Derek Fox feeding that scrum. Lee Crooks knocking that ball on. So it's Graham Stemman with the ball now there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there, back to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman back inside there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales trying to make room down the middle of the field there, but just slipping there as he was just going down. So it's Peter Smith's turn now to run it in. Peter Smith tackled about 10 yards short of that halfway line, plays the ball back. Jeff Grayson there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Carl Addison. Carl Addison back there to Derek Fox. But too many men in the line up there for Featherstone Rovers. It's still Featherstone Rovers leading by 8 points to 6. Ball back there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman pumping this ball downfield. So Phil Ford there taking that ball. Phil Ford there, that wide pass out there to Gary Lord. Leeds losing ground. Featherstone Rovers moving up. So Gary Lord picking that ball up. But he makes progress to his own 25-yard line. So Roy Powell now are in possession. Roy Powell running towards that touchline side, but Alan Banks there and Paul Hughes wraps him up. Is it Paul Hughes? Ian Smales. So it's Joe Waddell now. He'll run it in, will Joe Waddell. But Peter Smith there, straight round the bootlaces. Makes the tackle. So it's Leeds still in possession, about 15 yards from the halfway line. Referee there, Mr. Aldworth catching. Is it Mr. Aldworth? Mr. Whitfield there catching. Featherstone Rovers offside of that play of the ball. So there we are, Leeds 6 more tackles, 5 yards inside. Featherstone Rovers half of the field, taps the ball. Joe Waddell with the ball, he'll run it in. But Carl Addison there making the tackle. And Jeff Grayson there pulling him back. That's the first tackle. Delaney with the ball now there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell, he'll run it in and all, but Chrissy Burton meeting him and Trevor Clark. That's the second tackle. Quick play of the ball now to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks now back inside there to number 9, Colin Maskell to Paul Dixon. That's the third tackle. Leeds about 2 or 3 yards from that Featherstone Rovers 25-yard line. You just think at this moment Leeds have got a planned move on now. So it's Delaney with the ball now there to Dave Aaron. Dave Aaron there to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there just throwing that ball into no man's land. Who's dropped on the ball? Featherstone Rovers. Peter Smith there, number 13. It's Rovers ball, so it's Graham with the ball now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Jeff Grayson. Back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Trevor Clark. Trevor Clark there being smothered as soon as he got that ball. Plays the ball back there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales taking the defence on. But Ian Smales tackled about 10 yards short of that halfway line. So it's Jeff Grayson now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there. Nowhere to move. Lee Crooks there making the tackle. Tackle just short of the halfway line. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Peter Smith. It's all on. Peter Smith back inside there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman running wide. Graham Stemman trying to open up. But Joe Waddell there making the tackle. So the ball back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox all the time in the world. He'll kick that ball downfield. And the ball rolling and rolling now. John Bentley with the ball. We all know what happened last time he got onto the ball. He went the full length of the field. So John Bentley beating one man, but he's going nowhere this time. Back inside there to Phil Ford. Phil Ford there. Phil Ford round one man, round 2 men. Phil Ford still going. But Graham Stemman wrapping him up. Helped out there by Chrissy Burton and all. Gets up, plays the ball. Delaney with the ball now there to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there trying to bring his men onto the ball, but that's got tackling. Oh, that was dangerous play, but Roy Powell, beautiful tackle that by Ian Smales. Roy Powell just about to pass that ball, but Ian Smales met the perfect tackle. So it's Joe Waddell on that blind hand side there, but Paul Hughes there flies it in him. Paul Hughes, Ian Smales there making that tackle. So Leeds now trying to bring this ball out of the own half of the field. But Trevor Clark there, that's good tackling by Leeds, by Featherstone Rovers I should say. It's still Rovers 8, Leeds 6. Lee Crooks with the ball, I'm sure he'll pump this ball downfield. So Chris Bibb there hitting that ball, the referee says play on, but he didn't see Chris Bibb hit the ball with his hand. Chris Bibb there did everything right, chested the ball down, but just as he was just going to pick the ball bounced Stalker there, hit his arm. And the referee there right on the spot, so it's Leeds ball out of the pack there to Creaser. Creaser there to number 3, Gary Schofield to Phil Ford. Phil Ford taking Chris Bibb on, and once again Chris Bibb getting the legs on Phil Ford. Phil Ford there passing the ball inside there to Delaney. But it's Leeds now, David Aaron with the ball. Dave Aaron jinking one way, jinking the other way, but Carl Allison there wrapping him up. Now all this Leeds pressure now on this Featherstone Rovers try line with minutes to go before half time. Yo Waddell there nearly through the gap. 10 yards short of that Featherstone Rovers try line. Now what can Leeds muster up? And it's Lee Crooks with the ball. Lee Crooks, beautiful try, forward pass. Referee spotting a forward pass. All the Leeds players stopped. Everybody apart from the crowd, everybody saw that was a forward pass. The referee right on the spot there. And even before Gary Schofield had put that ball between the posts, the referee, Mr. Whitfield there, right on the spot to blow up for a forward pass. So Derek Fox getting that ball out of the scrum. So it's Trevor Clark from acting half-back. Trevor Clark running it in there, but Lee Crooks there making the tackle. So it's Alan Banks now from acting half-back. Alan Banks will run it in. But once again there, number 10 there, Yo Waddell. But Chrissy Burton there, being tackled just about 15 yards short of the halfway line, but Derek Fox once more turning Leeds round. The ball's rolling and rolling towards his touchline side. The ball finds touch. Number 2 there, Phil Ford, just couldn't get to that ball. So Paul Delaney feed the scrum, it's out to Leeds. David Creaser with the ball now there to Gary Schofield there to Gary Lord. Gary Lord there to Carl Gibson, but Carl Gibson being wrapped up there by Ian Smales, a man for a man there. Every man did his job well that time. Every player tackled his own man, so it's Leeds now trying to meet out of the own half. Dave Aaron there, number 13, being tackled by Rovers, number 10 there, Carl Addison. Oh, that's bad mistake there by Paul Dixon, knocking that ball on. So once again, another scrum, this time by Derek Fox to feed the scrum, 5 yards inside Leeds half of the field. So the ball's in, it's out to Derek Fox to Featherstone Rovers to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there now to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman trying to go down Gary Schofield, but Gary Schofield makes the tackle. Gets up, plays the ball, so it's Chris Bibb now with the ball. Chris Bibb taking him on down the middle, but Gary Schofield once again making the tackle. So Alan Banks now acting half back now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Jeff Grayson, but Jeff Grayson just couldn't pop that ball up there for Ian Smales. Carl Gibson there wrapping his arms around him, stopping man and ball. So it's Carl Gibson there flying at Trevor Clark from the acting half, pinching the ball in from the acting half back position. Referee says play on, and rightly so. Lee Crooks there to Delaney there, dropping that ball, so it's to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there going through the gap. So it's Graham Stedman now to John Bastion. If Featherstone Rovers wanted to try, it's now just before half time. And me saying that, Leeds want to try and all just before half time, so it's Jeff Grayson with the ball, but Jeff Grayson there being wrapped up there by Roy Powell. Puts his big arms around him. Jeff Grayson there unable to pass the ball in the tackle, so it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox back inside there to Chris Burton going without the ball. So this time Leeds pinching the ball, but mistakes by both sides. Just minutes before half time. So it's Leeds now on this side now, but Trevor Clark there just got his arms to him, and that's the half time there. And the score there, a try to Derek Fox, a converse to Derek Fox, a penalty goal to Graham Stedman against a penalty goal to David Creason, and that John Bentley tried to bring the half time score here from Edinburgh. Leeds 6, Featherstone Rovers 8. So here we go. So Whitfield there just getting ready for everybody to settle. There we go, Derek Fox Getting the ball downfield. Phil Ford underneath it, takes it well inside his own 25, bringing it out of his own 25. So Derek Fox there makes the tackle, follows his own kick up. So it's Colin Maskell now from acting half back there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell coming down the middle. Roy Powell throw tackles. That's good running by Roy Powell to Colin Maskell, but Derek Fox followed him all the way. But once again, good running that by Roy Powell, getting out to two Rovers tacklers. So it's Bentley back inside there, trying to make room for his own players to work the move. So Carl Allison making the tackle just about on the halfway line there. Dave Eden plays the ball back there to Colin Maskell there to Delaney, to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there lining his pass up there to Gary Lord. Gary Lord throws that ball back inside to Phil Ford, but Phil Ford tackled that 5 yards inside, drove us out of the field there. Chris Burton just making sure he was tackled with the ball. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now there, that long ball out there. Lee's getting this, trying to get this ball out wide, but Graham Stedman moving up very quickly indeed, makes the tackle. That's good tackling by Graham Stedman. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now, trying to look for this touchline side, but Paul Hughes there getting back for that ball, tapping that ball with his foot. Referee says play on, so Paul Hughes will bring it out. Good running that by Paul Hughes, makes it about 15 yards short of this halfway line. Now Chris Bipp's turn to bring it out, but Roy Powell there wrapping him up. That's the second tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back inside there to John Bastion out of one tackle. That's good running by the second row forward there, but Colin Maskell there wrapping him up. So it's Trevor Clark with the ball now back inside there to Peter Smith. But Peter Smith there tackled by Hugh Waddell just about 5 yards from that halfway line. Trevor Clark now, dummy half. Trevor Clark there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman there to Alan Banks, but Alan Banks just couldn't get to that ball. Just looking in this second half, Graham Stedman going to back to stand-off half, and Alan Banks going in the centre. So Delaney getting that ball, and that's a bad mistake. Terrible mistake that pass there to Delaney to Creaser, and Creaser knocking that ball, and Delaney picking that ball up in front of him, and referee giving offside. Terrible mistake by Leeds there from that scrum. So that just goes to show you how this game changes. That advantage what Leeds had there had been turned over there. Featherstone Rovers got the advantage now. Derek Fox. Derek Fox now there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there back to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Carl Allison. Carl Allison throw two tackles. That's good running by the Rovers, number 10. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back now to John Bastion. John Bastion trying to straighten up, trying to run through Roy Powell, but Roy Powell wraps his arms around him. Also there in the tackle, number 12 there, Paul Dixon. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back. Trevor Clark there to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman trying to get that ball out. Graham Stedman throw the gap. Oh, nearly throw the gap there, Graham Stedman. Magic stuff by Graham Stedman. Referee says rightly so, Paul Dixon making the tackle. He was marking him, he made the tackle, so it's play on. So Derek Fox with the ball now there to Peter Smith. Well, that's better play that by Graham Stedman in this second half. So it's Graham Stedman with the ball. Graham Stedman, chance at drop a goal, and straight through the middle. Another point for Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone Rovers 9, Leeds 6. So it'll be David Creaser restarting this game. That big kick downfield, the ball rolling and rolling. So Ian Smales making sure, picking that ball up inside his own 25-yard area, but Leeds getting across there, making the tackle, Hugh Waddell and Roy Powell. So Derek Fox now from acting half back. Derek Fox there to John Bastion. Well, John Bastion there, number 12 round him there. Dixon of Leeds there, making the tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson losing that ball in the tackle, and Leeds on the attack now. Number 3 there, but beautiful tackle there by Alan Banks, pushing him towards that side. Well, bad mistake by Rovers. Jeff Grayson losing that ball in the tackle. Now we hear the Leeds roar. David Eden with the ball now there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell there, oh, Gary Lord dropping that ball. Terrible mistake there by Leeds once again. Gary Lord there dropping that ball. 2 men overlap. Featherstone Rovers moving up very quickly indeed as soon as Leeds got that ball. So it'll be Derek Fox to feed this scrum. It's out to Featherstone over to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman there taking the defence on. Taking David Creaser on there, but David Creaser makes the tackle. Gary Lord just making sure. So Chris Bibney from acting half back there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there taking the defence on back inside there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there. Ooh, taking Gary Schofield on, but Gary Schofield makes the tackle. Gets up, plays the ball. Danny Beach now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Chris Burton. But that's good tackling by Leeds. Number 10 there, Hugh Waddell, right round the boat later. So Derek Fox with the ball now there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson just couldn't pop that ball up there. Trevor Clark on his inside, Derek Fox outside him, but Jeff Grayson there tackled 15 yards short of the halfway line. So it's Graham Stemman all the time in the world to bolt that ball downfield. Here he goes, and number 5 there, John Bentley picks that ball up. John Bentley there to Gary Lord. Gary Lord there looking round for John Bentley to run around with, but Trevor Clark there ties him up, and Carl Harrison on top. So Gary Lord there just couldn't part with that ball back there to John Bentley. Carl Harrison there making sure of that. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now, trying to go down the middle, but it's one-man rugby from Leeds at the moment. The Leeds crowd getting onto him. It's up to Featherstone Rovers to keep tackling. Hugh Waddell with the ball now, but Hugh Waddell there, that's gut tackling there. Peter Smith there and Carl Harrison bringing the man down now. Leeds have got a line out now, this ball across the middle of the line, and it's a bad mistake, and Chrissy Byrne dives on that ball for Featherstone Rovers. So it's John Bastian with the ball now there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman taking the defence on there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Alan Baggs. Alan Baggs back inside there to Danny Beach. That's good adventures play by Featherstone Rovers. They might be lacking in play, but pace, but they're not lacking in art. So it's Derek Fox with the ball there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson having to turn the ball back inside. Popping that ball up there for Derek Fox. Nearly through 2 tacklers there, but David Creaser making the tackle and Roy Powell. So it's Trevor Clark now from Acton Harpat now there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman looking for this touchline side. The ball's bouncing and rolling, and it's all on Ian Smells after that ball, but Gary Lord there dives on that ball. And Ian Smells being penalised for diving on Gary Lord. Linesman straight in with his flat, so it's a penalty kick to Leeds. So it's David Creaser. Touchline kick, so it's Leeds well inside their own 25-yard area. There'll be 6 tackles by Colin Maskell. Tapping this ball to Hugh Waddell. Hugh Waddell will run it in. But Chrissy Burton there meeting him, and Trevor Clark there, and Carl Harrison. Chris Burton wrestles into the ground, making sure he will tackle. So it's Colin Maskell now from dummy half to Roy Powell. Roy Powell in, but shoving one man off, but there we are. Peter Smith there and John Bastian making sure of the tackle. It's still Leeds 6, Featherstone Rovers 9. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now, back inside there. Beautiful power, beautiful tackle that by Carl Harrison. Follow the man with the ball there. Number 9 there, Colin Maskell. So it's Lee Crooks there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell trying to get this ball out wide, but beautiful tackle that to Phil Ford. But Graham Stemman followed that ball all the way across the line, tackling Phil Ford. So it's Jeff Grayson trying to hurry Leeds now. Lee Crooks with the ball now. That big kick down this left-hand side field, and Paul Hughes after that ball. Paul Hughes having to stop dead. Paul Hughes taking that ball there. Number 4 there, Carl Gibson making the tackle. That's good play by the Rovers wingman there, Paul Hughes after that ball. So it's Ian Smells now there to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb there tackled about 15 yards short of this halfway line. Quick to play the ball there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith coming down the middle. But Roy Powell makes the tackle. Just looking down here, Colin Maskell, the Leeds hooker, out on his feet. So it's Derek Fox there to... Oh, and Ian Smells taking his eye off that ball at the split second. Chris Bibb there had opened the way up there for him, but Ian Smells dropping that ball. So it's Carl Gibson going from Acton Harpat, but Ian Smells makes the tackle. Helped out there by Paul Hughes. So it's Leeds dining now from Acton Harpat there to Hugh Waddell. Hugh Waddell there running it in, but Carl Harrison there making the tackle. And the referee there just stopping the clock for a couple of seconds. Colin Maskell there just having treatment from the Leeds physio. There we go. First substitution second substitution I should say by Featherstone Rovers. Paul Newell having to go within the first half with injury, but John Bastian going off the field and Glenn Bull coming on. So there we are. Waddell plays the ball back to Delaney there to Creaser. Creaser there to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks back inside there to Dave Aaron, but Dave Aaron watched all the way there by Chris Burton. Chris Burton finally makes the tackle. So it's up to Rovers to keep tackling well. Though it's Lee Crooks with the ball now, going down the middle, but Peter Smith there upends him. So it's Delaney now from acting half back there to Dave Aaron there to Yo Waddell over to pass to back inside there to number 3 there, Gary Schofield, but Gary Schofield just run into a brick wall there, running to Chrissy Burton. That's good tackling by Rovers, and I think that's the first changeover in the match. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Graham Stedman there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith having to come back inside. So that's the first tackle. Rovers about 20 yards from the halfway line. Glenn Bull first touch of the ball for Featherstone Rovers. Playing under number 15 shirt, so it's Derek Fox there going from acting half back now to Graham Stedman trying to take him on. Graham Stedman, clear on, beating Tulin. Graham Stedman taking Delaney on. Graham Stedman up that touchline side. That's good running by the Rovers standoff half. Fantastic running that by Graham Stedman. Shook 2 tacklers off, so it's Derek Fox now with the ball now there to Jeff Creation. Jeff Creation through the gap. Oh, just couldn't get that ball inside there for Trevor Clark. And now we hear the Featherstone Rovers roar. Roy Powell there making the tackle, so it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox now to Peter Smith. Peter Smith ducking one side, ducking the other. So it's Chris Bibb with the ball now to Israel. Ian Smells here taking the defence on. Gut play that by Chris Bibb, once again getting Ian Smells on that little run. So it's Paul Hughes from acting half back now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, a drop kick attempt to goal. It's all on, it's gone across the face of the goal, and Gary Schofield there gets that ball. Alan Banks making the tackle. So it's Paul Delaney now running from acting half back, but Carl Allison wraps them big arms around him. No, he's got away from the tackle, and Paul Delaney still going. But Chris Burton makes sure of the tackle. That's good running that by Paul Delaney. Push 2 Featherstone Rovers forwards out of the way. So it's Dave Heron now. Dave Heron trying to come away with the ball, but no way through. Trevor Clark making the tackle. So it's Colin Maskell now there to Yo Waddell, but Yo Waddell there stopped dead in his tracks. Number 10 there, Carl Harrison. Number 15, Glenn Bolt, and helped out there by Chris Burton. So it's Leeds trying to get this ball out wide. Ray Crooks with the ball now. Getting this ball out wide there to Paul Dixon. Paul Dixon there being wrapped up. Ian Smells and Peter Smith making the tackle. So it's Gary Schofield threatening to kick. Gary Schofield trying to bring this ball out wide now to Colin Maskell. Colin Maskell, that big kick downfield. Chris Bibb coming across for that ball. Way inside his own half of the field. But Chris Bibb there taking that ball. Running it out. But Colin Maskell making the tackle just about on that Rovers 25-yard line. Well, this is exciting stuff here at Headingley now. The game's fluctuating from one end of the field to the other. Chris Pitt plays the ball back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there to Danny Beach. Danny Beach checking his strike, cutting back inside. But Gary Schofield makes the tackle. So it's Alan Banks now from acting half back there and to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Glenn Bolt. Glenn Bolt having to check his stride back inside. But Glenn Bolt there just taking the tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now. Trevor Clark back inside there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there pushing Lee Crooks off. Derek Fox through the gap. That's good running by the Rovers captain. It's still Featherstone Rovers 9, Leeds 6. Oh, Graham Stedman all the time in the world to bolt that ball downfield. Gary Law there taking that ball, and it's all on. He'll run it up to the halfway line, but Graham Stedman there and Carl Harrison in the way. So it's Leeds 10 yards inside their own half of the field. Just 3 points separating these two teams here this afternoon here at Headingley. A lot to play for the semi-finals, place in the Premiership playoffs. So it's Paul Delaney there being pushed back there. Peter Smith and Derek Fox making the tackle. So it's Colin Maskell now to Dave Heron. Dave Heron now to Roy Powell. Roy Powell taking his hand on that ball, and Derek Fox flew at that ball as if his life depended on it. So it's Trevor Clark now to Peter Smith there to Jeff Grayson there to Glenn Bolt. Glenn Bolt going through the gap. And Chris Bibb there waiting like an hawk to get that ball there. So it's Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson bringing his men inside him. Jeff Grayson there trying to push Yo Waddell off. So that ball now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. Back inside there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there trying to scamper through, but Roy Powell makes the tackle. Oh, we just feel any minute now this game's going to explode. Both sides dying for a try in this second half, and Graham Stedman puts his left boot to that ball there and finds touch. Phil Ford there just making sure he didn't get a touch to the ball, and looks like Leeds are bringing Yo Waddell off and bringing number 15 on, Gary Price. Well, that's the Leeds' first substitute in this match. Oh, the ball's in, it's out to Leeds. David Creaser now. David Creaser there to Gary Lord, but Gary Lord there being wrapped up there by his opposite number there, Chris Bibb. Plays the ball back. Now it's Gary Price. First touch of the ball. Gary Price loses the ball. And Featherstone Rovers pounce on that ball. Who is it? I think it's Chris Bibb. Yes, it is. Now you hear the rogue up again from Featherstone. So it's Graham Stemman going from acting half back. But number 6 there, David Creaser, just got hold of his shirt, just made the tackle. So it's Chris Bibb now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Ian Smales. Ian Smales pushes 2 men off. That's good running by Ian Smales. We're inside the Leeds 25 area now. Peter Smith with the ball now there to Derek Fox. Back to Jeff Creation. Back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Trevor Clark. Trevor Clark there to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb through the gap. Chris Bibb taking him on. Oh, just couldn't get that ball out there. Ian Smales had just overrun him. Ian Smales with the ball now there to Peter Smith, there to Derek Fox there. Derek Fox that long ball out there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman there to number 5, Danny Beach. Danny Beach having to check his strike, come back inside. Phil Ford making the tackle. Oh, what excitement stuff now. Graham Stemman, that little kick throw, it's all on. David Ennen taking that little kick throw. But Trevor Clark there making the tackle. It's up to Featherstone Rovers to keep him pinned down here. It's up to Leeds to get back down here. And it's Leeds now trying to bring the ball out of the own half, and just listen to them Featherstone Rovers supporters. They're applauding every tackle here at Headingley. They know that Featherstone have come here to win today, so it's Carl Gibson coming down the middle. Carl Gibson on a run, but wrapping him up there, Glenn Bulth. Glenn Bulth there getting across to tackle his centre there, so it's Lee Crooks. That big kick downfield, and the ball's rolling and rolling. Danny Beach takes that ball 10 yards inside his own half. He'll try to make as much progress as he can. Oh, just couldn't get that ball up there for Chris Bibb, but he did the right thing there, taking the tackle. That's the first tackle. So it's Alan Banks now going from acting half back. Alan Banks there, throw one tackle. That's good running that by Alan Banks there, beating one man. That's the second tackle. So it's Derek Fox with the ball now. Derek Fox there to Chris Burton. Oh, and that looked to be tied by Gary Price, but referee says play on. So it's Jeff Creation now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Ian Smales, taking Carl Gibson on. Ian Smales throwing that ball down. And it's a penalty kick now to Leeds. Chris Bibb picking that loose ball up, but a Featherstone Rovers player had already obstructed the Leeds player from getting to that ball. So it's a penalty kick to Leeds. With John Bentley putting this ball into touch. So it's Colin Maskell with the ball now there to Gary Price. Gary Price running it in, but Carl Allison making the tackle. And Jeff Creation also involved with the tackle. Colin Maskell acting half back now to Roy Powell. Roy Powell running it in, but Trevor Clark there, and Trevor Clark below and Carl Allison on top making the tackle. Now you hear the Leeds roar. First it's the Rovers roar, now it's the Loiners roar. So it's Delaney with the ball now. Oh, it's a bad mistake once again by Delaney there, getting mixed up. Featherstone Rovers closing ranks there, and Chris Burton diving on that ball. So it's Graham Stemman now going from acting half back, but Lee Crooks makes the tackle. So it's Jeff Creation. He'll run it out up to that halfway line, but that's good running by Jeff Creation. Trying to bring the Leeds forwards in to make the tackle. So it's Derek Fox with the ball now, juggling with the ball, but no way through. Dave Erin there up tipping him, and number 12 there, Paul Dixon. So Peter Smith now to Carl Allison. Carl Allison trying to go through the middle. Back up there for Trevor Clark there now to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there taking Schofield on. Alan Banks beating one man there. But number 13, Dave Erin, gets across. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman, that big boot downfield. And once again, Gary Lort coming across for that ball inside his own 25-yard area. Picks it up. Ian Smales there looking at him. So it's John Bentley with the ball now. But John Bentley, Paul Hughes makes the tackle. Straight round the bootlaces. So it's Carl Gibson now from acting half back. Carl Gibson there, but Peter Smith there and Paul Hughes wrapping him up. That's the second tackle. Leeds haven't moved an inch. So it's Delaney with the ball now there to Gary Price. Gary Price turning back inside, but Peter Smith there. And Paul Hughes on top, stopping him from passing that ball. So Leeds now with Roy Powell trying to bring it away. Roy Powell there goes round one man. Roy Powell through the gap. Roy Powell on a flyer. Roy Powell taking the defence on there to Colin Maskell. This is Leeds at the best to David Creaser. David Creaser scores a wonderful try for Leeds. Oh, that was sheer magic. Oh, met by that big number 11 there, Roy Powell. Shrugging two would-be Featherstone Rovers tacklers off. Colin Maskell backing up. Colin Maskell joined the fullback there, Chris Pym, and throwing a wonderful pass out there for David Creaser to plant that ball at the side of the post. Featherstone Rovers 9, Leeds 10. So where we are, David Creaser attempting to convert his own try. So here he goes, strikes the ball straight between the middle. Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 9. So here we are, just about 19 minutes left for playing this second half. Leeds finally take the initiative, finally get in front. Just looking down at my scorecard, that's the first time that Leeds have been in front all the match, and we're in just about in the last quarter. So it's Roy Powell once again breaking tackles. So it's Gary Price with the ball now. They're trying to get his three-quarters away there. Number 12 there, Paul Dixon, tackle about 10 yards short of this halfway line. Leeds starting to throw this ball about now. David Eden. Leeds starting to find gaps in this Featherstone Rovers defence. It's up to Featherstone Rovers to close down on them. Colin Maskell with the ball now there to Delaney. Delaney, that long ball out there to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there to number 2, Phil Ford. But Phil Ford being tackled. That's gut tackling that by Alan Banks. Phil Ford plays the ball back, so it's Gary Schofield, that big kick downfield. He's kicked the ball deep, the ball's rolling and rolling, looks like it's going to roll dead. And Chris Bibb has to pick that ball up inside his own try line. So Chris Bibb will run it out, that's good running by Chris Bibb. But Featherstone Rovers, they've got to make headway up to this Leeds try line, so it's Glenn Bull with the ball now. But Glenn Bull there tackled just about 20 yards from the halfway line. So Derek Fox with the ball now there to Graham Stemmer. Graham Stemmer now to Paul Hughes, still there. Paul Hughes on a run. Paul Hughes taking the defence on. Paul Hughes looking for support back inside there to Graham Stemmer. Graham Stemmer after one tackle, taking Phil Ford on. Graham Stemmer's after that ball. Graham Stemmer's chasing for it. But Phil Ford there just kicking the ball dead. But what excitement here at Tenonley. Paul Hughes there took the defence on, made a good 40-yard sprint past the ball inside to Graham Stemmer. Graham Stemmer kicked over Phil Ford's head. Phil Ford there just had the legs there to turn round and kick that ball dead. So Featherstone Rovers might be down, but they're definitely not out. Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 9, and that big kick-off. And Chris Bibb there just making sure, tapped it with his foot, he'll run it out. Chris Bibb there coming across the field, he's got to straighten up. Number 3 there, Gary Schofield makes the tackle. So Alan Banks now from dummy half. Alan Banks there, just ball didn't bounce kindly for him that time to get the ball back inside there to Glenn Bull, so he had to go solo. So Glenn Bull now from that snap back now to Derek Fox, to Peter Smith, back to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there, but Derek Fox there losing the ball in the tackle. It's all on Glenn Bull picking that ball on. Glenn Bull trying to go down the middle. The referee wiping them tackles off. Touch to Leeds player, so it's Trevor Clark with the ball now there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson just couldn't get that ball up. If he'd have passed that ball to Derek Fox, it would have been a forward. So Ian Smales taking the defence on now. But Ian Smales 20 yards from that Leeds try line. Can Featherstone Rovers get back into this game now? Carl Allison back inside there, it's all on, but the referee saying a knock on, but that ball to me went back, but the referee right on the spot. So once again the scrum's formed. About 15 yards short of that Leeds try line. Phil Ford there picking that ball up very slow, but there's at least 15 minutes to go in this match. Just about 15 minutes left. Delaney picking that ball up from the scrum now. Phil Ford with the ball, but that's gut tackling that by number 1 there, Chris Bibb. Makes the tackle. Delaney with the ball now there to Gary Price. Gary Price trying to bring it away. But too many tackles in the way that time for Gary Price. Ian Smales, Peter Smith and Paul Hughes. So it's Paul Dixon now, gets up, plays the ball. Colin Maskell at dummy half now to David Eden. David Eden now to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks there trying to go down. Glenn Booth, but Glenn Booth on top and Trevor Clark below. So Lee Crooks plays that ball. Gary Schofield with the ball. It's a little chip over. It's all on. Who's going to go down for the ball? Gary Schofield goes down for the ball. Nobody touched it from Featherstone Rovers side. So Them tackles still count. The ball back inside now to... Oh, that looked... One of them passes looked like a forward to me. David Creasy with the ball, trying to get the ball. Oh, and that ball bounced lovely for Roy Powell there to pick up. It just bounced marvellous there for Roy Powell to pick that ball up. It looks if Alan Banks going to pick that ball up, or was it Danny Beach? And the ball come back for... So it's Gary Schofield there to... And that's the changeover. That ball striking the Featherstone Rovers player instead of the ball hitting him. So it's Derek Fox with the ball there from Graham Stedman. Derek Fox trying to come down the middle. So it's Graham Stedman now from acting half back now there to Carl Addison. Carl Addison there trying to get that ball away, but Gary Price putting himself between the man and the ball. So it's Carl Addison taps the ball to himself. Tackled about 15 yards from that halfway line. So it's Graham Stedman acting up at now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there, that long ball out there to Ian Smells. Ian Smells having to cut back inside. Ian Smells trying to go down the middle. Oh, and that looked an heavy tackle. Gary Price there making the tackle. So it's Trevor Clark now there, back there to Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman, that big bulk downfield. And Phil Ford taking that ball just about on his own 25-yard line. Phil Ford coming across. Phil Ford now to John Bentley. John Bentley cutting back inside. John Bentley going down the middle. But Trevor Clark wraps him up. Colin Masker with the ball now there to number 12 now. Paul Dixon. Paul Dixon pushes one man out of the way. Paul Dixon still going. Paul Dixon still going. Strong running forward this Paul Dixon. And Paul Dixon finally brought down about 10 yards from that Featherstone Rovers 25-yard line. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now, taking the Featherstone Rovers defence on. Gary Schofield doing his usual poaching, but Lee Crooks doesn't go get that ball this time. So it's Paul there with the ball now to Dave Eden. Dave Eden there to Roy Powell. Roy Powell knocks on. It's still Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 9. And the ball's in. Derek Fox with the ball now there to Graham Stedman, that little pass there to Ian Smells, but Ian Smells going nowhere. Leeds watching that moment, so it's Alan Banks now there to Peter Smith. Featherstone Rovers just looking a little bit organised now, so it's Jeff Grayson with the ball now. Jeff Grayson trying to run it in. Jeff Grayson there losing that ball in the tackle, so it's Carl Gibson. Oh, Carl Gibson just could have got that ball out there to Gary Lord on that wing. Leeds had an overlap. Carl Gibson gets to his feet, unsteady, but Lee Crooks with the ball now, taking that defence on down that right touchline side. Danny Beach making the tackle now. It's all Leeds now. Delaney with the ball now there to Gary Schofield there to David Eden to Roy Powell. Roy Powell there to Phil Ford cutting back inside, but Peter Smith wraps him up. Phil Ford plays the ball there to Gary Schofield there to number 1 Gary Lord. Gary Lord there just passing that ball there to Colin Maskell. Lee Crooks picking that ball up. So it's that little kick throw, and once again a touch found. So there we are, Carl Gibson going off and Mark Locke coming on, another substitution for Leeds. So there we are, the ball's in, it's out to Derek Fox and Featherstone Rovers. To Graham Stedman now to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes trying to come through the middle. Paul Hughes there pushing Phil Ford up. So there we are, the game's restarted there. Derek Fox back inside there to Chris Burton. Chris Burton losing that ball in the tackle. Leeds' ball. Bad mistake by Featherstone Rovers on the first tackle. So it's Colin Maskell now from acting half back now to Gary Price. Gary Price trying to use his blind hand side. Getting that ball up there to Gary Law, but Ian Smells makes the tackle. And Ian Smells pinches that ball in the tackle. So Featherstone Rovers back with the ball again. Derek Fox with the ball now there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there. And just couldn't get that ball out wide. So it's Chris Burton now from acting half back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that little ball there to Jeff Grayson. Back inside there to Chris Bibb. Chris Bibb taking the defence on, trying to go down. Young Paul Delaney, but Paul Delaney there making a marvellous recovery there. Makes the tackle on Chris Bibb. Gets up, plays the ball to Trevor Clark. Trevor Clark there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox turning back inside. Derek Fox there tackled just about on the halfway line there. Roy Powell putting his big arms around him. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back there now to Peter Smith. Peter Smith, that long ball out there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks there to Danny Beach, having to cut back inside. But Featherstone Rovers just lacking that bit of pace in this second half for the overlap. Just about on the halfway line. So it's Alan Banks now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that big kick downfield. It's all on. Number 1 there, Gary Lord, never taking his eye off that ball. Takes the ball. Passes his ball there to his namesake there, Mark Lord. Mark Lord coming across this side here to John Bentley. John Bentley there, hard to one tackle, but Ian Smales wrestles him to the ground. It's still Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 9. Carl Gibson now with the ball now there to Gary Price. Just about 6 minutes left for play now in this match. Leeds still hanging on here at Headingley. Everything still to play for Dave Heron with the ball. The next try, I'm sure, will be the match winner. That's if there's another try to come. Leeds just hanging on. 12 points to 9. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now. Back inside there to Paul Delaney. Beautiful play there to Colin Maskell. There to Gary Schofield. Gary Schofield, that little kick over. Gary Schofield after that ball. But Graham Stemman getting back for that ball. Graham Stemman there takes that ball. Graham Stemman there taking. Oh, that was beautiful play by Graham Stemman. Go play that by the Rovers standoff half. That was cool players, if ever you saw it there. Gary Schofield looked to try score all the way. So it's Chris Bibb with the ball now there to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes now. Paul Hughes turning inside. Back inside there to Peter Smith. So Ian Smales from acting half back now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson there to Glenn Bull. Glenn Bull there. Trying to get that ball up there for Danny Beach, but number 14 there, Mark Lord, made the tackle. So it's Derek Fox with the ball now. Derek Fox, that long ball out there to Carl Addison. Carl Addison coming down the middle, but number 13 there, Dave Heron, wrapping him up. So Trevor Clark now there down to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman there to Danny Beach. Danny Beach having to cut back inside once again. Danny Beach, that hard to one tackle. Danny Beach down the middle. Danny Beach still going. That's good running by the Rovers wingman. So it's Trevor Clark now from acting half back. Trevor Clark there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there, that long ball out there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith there to Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes taking this defence on. Paul Hughes back inside to Chris Bibb there to Chris Payne. Chris Payne there to Glenn Bull. Oh! Glenn Bull scores the try. I can't say marvellous. He was fantastic. Oh, just look at them fans. Just look at them fans behind the posts. Oh, have you ever seen scenes like it? There's umbrellas, there's scarves, there's women's knickers being thrown up in the air. That's absolutely fantastic, that. Oh, Glenn Bull there, Paul Hughes there, to Chris Bibb, Peter Smith, and Glenn Bull there, and the players know they've got this game won. And just look at Jeff Grayson, still giving orders. Oh, that was unbelievable. Just about 3 minutes left for play in this match. And has Glenn Bull scored the match-winning try for Featherstone Rovers? I think he has. So Derek Fox here just composing himself. Featherstone Rovers a point in front. He knows how vital this goal kick is. Derek Fox straight between the middle. Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 15. Well, you can hear the pin drop behind me. I'm way up on the gantry here at Headingley, and all the Leeds supporters around me. And it's a big kick off there, but Jeff Grayson takes that ball. He knows, just play 6 tackles out. That's all you've got to do, lads. So Trevor Clark with this ball now there to Peter Smith. Peter Smith, he'll wrap both them arms round that ball there, and he'll look it like he's hugging a teddy bear there. He won't let go of that ball. So it's Terry Fox with the ball now there to Graham Stemman. Graham Stemman now to Alan Banks. Alan Banks will just steady it down there, back inside. No fancy stuff. Jeff Grayson knows that. All it wants is Featherstone Rovers just to play these 6 tackles out. So it's Terry Fox now there to Carl Addison. Carl Addison going down the middle, but Roy Powell wrapping him up. Well, you can hear, I've just been saying, you can hear a pin drop. Leeds fans have gone very, very quiet now. So it's Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox, there to Jeff Grayson. Oh, Jeff Grayson just couldn't pop that ball up there for Alan Banks. Just about on my watch now, a minute left for playing this match, and there'll be a bit of injury time. So Graham Stemman now getting this ball. He'll kick it downfield. And number 1 there, Gary Lord takes that ball over his own 25. He'll run it out. That's the first tackle. It's up to Featherstone Rovers to keep Leeds pinned down there in that half. And you can sense the atmosphere in this ground. And Leeds with this overlap now to Gary Price. But number 5 there, John Bentley passes that ball back inside. Dave Heron now trying to get this ball out to Paul Delaney. Paul Delaney going down the middle, but Paul Hughes wraps him up. wraps them big arms round him, makes sure he can't pass that ball. So it's Colin Maskill now there to Dave Aaron to Lee Crooks. Lee Crooks trying to make headway down the middle, but that's good tackling by Rovers. Carlisle there, make sure he couldn't get that ball out. And by my watch now, there's just seconds to go. But like I said, there's a bit extra time on my watch. And it's John Bennett, Gary Price, John Batt inside there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson there, but Aid Smells wraps him up. Oh, this is agonising Aid stuff here at Headingley. Featherstone Rovers want that whistle to blow. Leeds don't, so it's Paul Mulaney back inside there to Dave Aaron. But Chris Burton following him across there, makes the tackle. And Leeds still there with the ball. God knows how he passed that ball there. Number 12 there, Paul Dixon. Paul Dixon still going there. Trying to get that ball out wide, and Graham Stedman's pinched the ball. I think it's Graham Stedman got that ball for Featherstone Rovers. Yes, he has. Trevor Clark now there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox there to Glenn Booth. Glenn Booth there, scorer of the, what I think is the match-winning try at Headingley for Featherstone Rovers. Oh, and just listen to these fans. And they'll be celebrating tonight in Featherstone if they win this match here to Headingley. And the no more prouder man sat in that box opposite me there, Peter Fox. Never shows any emotions, but I'm sure he'll show some emotions after this match. Carl Allison with the ball, 5 yards inside his own half there, tackled by Colin Maskill. Well, we're in injury time now. Trevor Clark with the ball there to Jeff Grayson, but Jeff Grayson wrestled over there by number 13, Dave Aaron. Plays the ball, Trevor Clark with the ball now there, back there to Derek Fox. Derek Fox using that touchline side. And Mark Law picking that ball up. Mark Law coming down there, but Danny Beach flies himself at him. Surely seconds ticking away now. There can't be much longer time for to go now. And it's number 1 there, Gary Lott, trying to come down the middle. So it's Lee Crooks with the ball now. He knows there's not long to go. Lee Crooks through the gap. Lee Crooks there. But Graham Stedman wrestles him to the floor. Surely can't be much time to go now. Paul Delaney with the ball now there to Dave Aaron. Dave Aaron there to Gary Lord there to Gary Lord there. But that's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. Alan Banks there making the tackle. Derek Fox on top. Is it Derek Fox? No, it's Danny Beach. So it's Dave Aaron with the ball now. Swinging that ball out wide now to Lee Crooks. And Leeds now with Gary Price back his own. Peter Smith getting that ball. Surely that's Leeds' final fling. That's the first tackle. Graham Stedman now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox to Trevor Clark. Trevor Clark there to Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson there to Glenn Booth. And Glenn Booth being tackled 5 yards short of the halfway line. So Trevor Clark now. Trevor Clark just about on the halfway line. So it's Chris Bibb. He'll run it in from acting half back. Chris Bibb through the gap. Chris Bibb going for that try line. Oh, brilliant run there by Chris Bibb. Taking all the Leeds defence on, but Paul Delaney getting across to make the tackle. So it's Danny Beach now to Derek Fox. Derek Fox missing one man out there to Chrissy Byrne. Chrissy Byrne running it in. So it's Trevor Clark now there. Trevor Clark there, back to Derek Fox. As cool as a cucumber, but it's just missed the post. And surely there's 2 or 3 minutes overtime here now. And everybody's whistling on this ground, apart from the Leeds supporters. It's still Leeds 12. Featherstone Rovers 15. Oh, and Paul Hughes nearly intercepted that ball. Here Smells did and all. But he's got to come back. It's a knock on. Oh, it's kicked the ball. And Ian Smells, Paul Hughes nearly intercepted the ball. Ian Smells also did likewise. Referee spotting the knock on, but surely it must be time. And the ball's in, it's out to Leeds. Delaney with the ball now there to Creaser trying to get that ball out wide. It's up to Featherstone. Paul Hughes racing across there on John Bentley. Paul Hughes following John Bentley all over. But Danny Beach and Paul Hughes finally makes the door. And Featherstone Rovers possession is Graham Stedman. Graham Stedman now back there to Alan Banks. Alan Banks cut it back inside. Alan Banks there, nobody's a bastard, but he'll take the tackle. And there goes the final score. Oh, just look at them players. Oh, just look at the supporters. I'm losing my voice here at Headingley. Fantastic scenes here. Absolutely marvellous stuff. The Leeds try scorers, John Bentley a try, David Creaser trying, David Creaser 2 goals, 12 points, and Featherstone Rovers, Derek Fox try, a Glenn Bull try. A Graham Stenman goal, two Derek Fox's goal and a Graham Stenman drop goal from Headingley here. Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 15, and just look at them fans. And Oda said this time last year, I said it before the match, Featherstone Rovers in the semi-finals, in the first division in the Premiership, playing in 2 weeks' time. I just don't know who will play, but absolutely fantastic scenes here at Headingley. Just look at them supporters behind the sticks. Absolutely magic. And I can just see Glenn Bull here being showered there by all his friends there, signing a few autographs. But absolutely marvellous scenes here at Headingley. Featherstone Rovers have brought off a remarkable victory. The set game seemed to be lost when the Leeds there with that David Creaser trying conversion, bring Leeds in front by 12 points to 9. But Glenn Bull there, that final try, Paul Hughes, Chris Pitt, Peter Smith, all involved with that build-up to that try, and Glenn Bull just took the final pass to go on unopposed there and put the ball over that Leeds try line. So we'll leave you from Headingley now. Leeds 12, Featherstone Rovers 15. Back at Headingley, after all the melodrama or the drama, whatever you want to call it, and you're just looking at the pitch now. These are the way the Featherstone Rovers players have done it here this afternoon. We've been to Wembley in 67, 73 and 83 when we won the Cup, but this surely must rank as one of Featherstone Rovers' ever greatest victories. And all the thought is at the beginning of the season, I said prior to this match that Featherstone Rovers had done the impossible, finishing in 6th position, all one down to one man. And I've just heard that the KGB, the CIA and the FBI, they put a warrant on Peter Fox's head, because what Peter Fox and his lads have done here this afternoon, they have just assassinated Leeds. Malcolm Real and Alan Agard, I'm sure they'll be in the Leeds dressing room with the heads bowed between the legs. But Peter Fox and his men, all he's done this season is just brought 1 or 2 players into the team. Trevor Clark, all he cost was his airfare from New Zealand. Jeff Grayson, a veteran at 40 years old, but don't tell Jeff Grayson he's a veteran. Free transfer from Bradford Northern at the beginning of the season, and Chris Burton playing in the second row. Well, OKR give Featherstone Rovers £55,000 to take Chris Burton off the hands. That's unbelievable marketing by Featherstone Rovers. And all due down to one man there, Peter Fox. When you ask Peter Fox, he'll say, no, don't give me the credit, give the lads the credit. But can anybody say, any Featherstone Rovers supporter or any Leeds supporter after today's match, that Featherstone Rovers did not deserve to win this match here this afternoon? Absolutely fantastic try in the last few seconds there to win the match for Featherstone Rovers. Glenn Both there, another local lad, signed on halfway through the season. So there we are, we'll leave you now at Headingley. Featherstone Rovers ran out winners in the end by 15 points to 9. What it? 12.